bars in a rave. Man, I go hard like Santan.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Touchline Fracas. I'm joined this week by my usual co-conspirator, Disu. You saying, Disu?
I'm good, my brother. I'm good. What are you saying?
I'm good, bro. Man United aren't playing, so that means I merely get to observe the game as a spectator and lover of the sport rather than hating my club every single week. So actually, pretty good at the minute.
We'll need to sign in Burma and I'll be a bit more happy.
What's going on with that? Anyway, before we get into all that, before I start, I've got to do the usual plug to socials. Touchline Fracas on X, Touchline Media Group on Instagram, Touchline Media Group on YouTube. Full pod go out on YouTube the day after the release of the release of the pod audio, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Across the different Patreons in the network, we've been releasing scouting report vids, which are proving to be very popular. If you're into that sort of thing, sign up as a Patreon. I imagine more are going to be coming from the different groups in the coming weeks as players are coming in. Teams are being linked to new players, and fans are doing their assessment of the current squads that they have. So subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. Anyway, let's start. So this is two Manchester United fans. Let's start with Manchester United. What is the latest with Mbeumo? What's going on with that, man?
Nothing. I mean, the latest thing that we saw was Berta saying that he ain't gonna pay over the odds or whatnot. That was the latest. Just you get what I'm saying. So we don't know where it's at now. There was like the hoopla of like Spurs maybe jumping in, but I think that's been kind of squashed now, and it looks like Spurs, as of now, shall I say, are targeting Semenyo from Bournemouth. Yeah. So it's just like it seems like a waiting game right now. But who's going to blink first in the negotiations? That's what it looks like to me right now.
So it's not a case of us waiting to sell to buy him. It's more so the two clubs haggling over the fee.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it looks like to me.
Okay, fair. We've done the scouting report on Mbeumo. We've agreed that will not come out unless we sign him.
Facts.
Yeah. So that will stay in the vault unless we sign him. Cool. Let's quickly talk about the Club World Cup, which has actually been surprisingly really fun. It's 20. So basically, it's a club version of the World Cup. So it's 32 teams, 8 groups of 4. You got 12 teams from Europe. So it's like the last 4 Champions League winners. So City, Chelsea, Bayern Munich, and Manchester City? City, Chelsea, Bayern Munich. Am I missing somebody? Real Madrid. And then you've got, and then the remaining teams are like based on their coefficients of the last 4 years. So that's where you get Inter, Atletico Madrid, Dortmund, etc., etc. Every country can only have 2 clubs, so hence why England have City and Chelsea. And then South America is the last 21, 22, 23, last 4 Copa Libertadores winners, coefficients. Asian teams, similar. Asian Champions League, last 4 winners, coefficients. Africa, same thing. Africa Champions League winner, last 4 years. So what we're seeing is a truly global Club World Cup. Like last few years, or what we remember is typically the European team gets into the semi-finals, plays a game against a shit team, gets to the final, and they win it. This is a proper competition. I think it's going to be once every 4 years. And the prize money, like all in all, is like $150 million if you win it. So it's a serious competition. I'm enjoying it. The South American team's dog. Messi, he's still the best technical player in the world. If you're just talking about what he can do with the ball at his feet, he's still the best in the world. Scored a crazy match winner the other day. You've seen Esteval, who's coming to Chelsea, Mora from Porto. Chelsea lost the other day, which means more. I'm enjoying it. I think for me, these sort of competitions like the World Cup really get interesting in around the 16. So when it's like the good teams from each group, but I'm enjoying it. And for once, I think they've actually made a good decision. Even though it's more football for the players, the clubs are taking it seriously because of how much money they can win. And I think as time goes on, having a Club World Cup on your resume, top 10 legacies.
Yeah, I agree. I think people are being a bit too harsh with the Club World Cup. I do agree with the anger at the timing, which means the players are playing a inhumane amount of football. That I agree with. The only thing I do not like about the Club World Cup is where it was situated, and it being in America, and some of the kickoffs where you haven't hardly anybody in the stadiums. I think that's a disservice to the players and to the products. But again, I thought that a lot of the disdain to the All-Stars competition was way too premature. And I've realized that I think it's just human nature. People just don't respect things that are new. Because I was having a debate about the Nations League because I was defending Cristiano Ronaldo and people were like, "Oh, it's just the Nations League, it's glorified friendlies." I'm like, no, it's not glorified friendlies. It's literally a competitive competition. They've told you it's competitive competition. We had a zillion friendlies which were pointless, so they were playing competitive games, and the players care about it. As you can see from the teams they choose, how they try, how they celebrate goals. You could tell when international teams are scoring goals and all the subs are coming on and to celebrate, it means more. Do you get what I'm saying? So every tournament, they've taken it seriously. From Portugal winning it first, I think the next winners were, I know France won it, and maybe somebody else. And
Was that the M transition year? Yeah.
Yes, that was M transition year. yeah. What's it called? Benzema and Pogba balling, and then I think I can't remember who won it last. Spain. Spain won it last. Yeah, come on, put that in the bag.
Put that on the pile. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So I think it's just a bit silly. Like, and also to be fair, this is a wider rant from me, and it's something I'm not going to participate in anymore. Trophies matter. You can't just keep rubbing out trophies.
Interesting. So when you say trophies matter, what is the wider discussion you're talking about?
I'm seeing fans. Because what it is, I just take it as disrespect to the players. At the end of the day, we're just fans, bro.
Yeah.
And really and truly, we're not okay. Fans is dressing it up. We are consumers. That's what we are.
Right.
Loyal consumers.
Mm-hmm.
The people who actually have skin in the game, and that means people who are directly involved are the players and the coaching staff. That's who.
So if I was like, but the sport is nothing without the consumers or the fans. Would you say?
No, not nothing. They make it bigger, but at the end of the day, a competition is still a competition. Man are still competing. Do you know what I mean? Same way, field hockey is not as popular as football. Don't mean man ain't still competing, and it means a lot for man to win a game. Man are still competing. Do you get what I'm saying? So these players are competing, and they're happy to say they've won something because at the end of the day, only one team can win a competition. So it's still gonna be difficult. There's not gonna be that many winners at the end of every season. Like our league has four potential trophies you can win: a European trophy, plus 2 domestic cups and a league title. Similar with a lot of other European countries, some of them only have 1 domestic cup. Yeah. So trophies are in limited supply. So to rub out somebody like Cristiano Ronaldo, Cruyff winning the Nations League, I've seen people who have not achieved 0.0000000000001% of what Cristiano Ronaldo has achieved.
Don't rub out that Employee of the Month award, bro.
Bro,
you're not going to do that,
bro. That is compared to what people like Cristiano Ronaldo. I think it's insane to say that he can't cry about that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it means more. They're competing. So even as fans, and I think it was just arrogance that I had because Man United used to win the league every other year.
Yeah.
Under 30, 26 years, 13 league titles.
Right.
2 Champions Leagues. Only God knows how many FA Cups and League Cups. And they got the Community Shield, a World Club Cup in there somewhere. Maybe a Super Cup. Actually, no, we got blamed by what a man called? Arshav's team. They had the Gazprom kit. Zenit St. Petersburg.
Yes.
Yeah, they gave us a Biznaid. Like I said, FA Cup, League Cup. Because if United won those trophies, that would be an unsuccessful season for us.
I think you have a good point. I think I get I think overall, holistically, yes, trophies matter, but I think it's also relevant to the stature of said club. So, for example, a Newcastle, a Tottenham, teams that don't regularly get an opportunity to win anything.
Morayo, sorry to cut you. Trophies should matter to every club in this Barclays League, apart from Manchester City and maybe Liverpool, because Manchester City are ones who are winning the big honors on a consistent basis. Everybody else ain't winning shit.
I agree, but I think
how can Arsenal say
stature of a club matters. And so I think that's what stature of a club matters, and that's what contextualizes how fans react to certain trophies.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you're right. But I think a lot of man's perception of the stature of the club ain't what it is.
Okay, I think it's a good...
Arsenal have not won the 2 top trophies. Well, they have not won one of the top trophies ever. The other top trophy ain't won since 2004. They have no right to say these trophies are relevant because you don't win shit, cuz. And that Premier League, you won it 3 times. Well, I think Wenger won it 3 times and George Graham won it once. So that's 4 Premier Leagues.
Yeah.
See, the 4 in a row. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have right. So you don't have a right. And also, what we actually start to think about, and I think this is probably more from, and I changed my mentality because I started to watch a lot of American sports.
Right.
And then I saw from basketball, winning stuff matters. Winning mentality matters. Like, no, funny, like, see Philly.
Yeah.
The process. That man was just a loser. That man got too used to losing, bro.
Right.
Certain franchises ain't about that losing thing. Right? And if you look at all the best teams, they win the cups. So PSG, they win their domestic cup. Bayern, they tend to win that
because like you're still playing the same teams, right?
Yeah,
you're still playing the same teams. I agree with you. Like acting like, if we don't get far in the FA Cup or we don't get far in the League Cup, it doesn't matter. You've lost. You're losing. So you should
and for the teams you're trying to chase and emulate. The teams you're trying to chase and emulate, they win these things. Like Barcelona and Madrid, they'd be winning their Copa del Rey, and they Bayern will be winning their things. Juventus back in the day.
Winning mentality that you talk about, right? Because those knockout competitions, you actually draws can lead to you going out on penalties or whatever the case may be, right? But when you have a club or a team that has that winning mentality, i.e., every time we play, we are looking to win that game. We're looking to have seasons where we're winning 60-65% of the games that we actually play. Invariably, you will win these cups anyway. And so to go through a season and to win nothing, or versus a team that goes through a season and win something, but it's that cup, so it doesn't matter if they won. They had to beat teams to get there, and it means something. I agree with you. I think
we would have to beat your bum-ass team. Your bum-ass team actually tried. They tried to beat us in FA Cup. They tried to beat Newcastle in the semi-finals.
Yeah,
and they tried to. So that stuff is crazy. Now back to the World Cup. Just because tournaments are new, don't mean that they don't mean nothing. Because the reason why we respect certain tournaments because we see the history. These things have just started. These things have started. So if these tournaments continue, in like 5-6 World Cups, it's going to mean something. Do you know what I'm saying? Same way the Nations League is going to start to mean something. Right. You can't tell it. And it's just, I just find it ironic because the teams that have won the Nations League have ironically won other stuff. So Portugal, 2 Nations Leagues, they've won the European Championships and they've gone to semi-finals of the World Cups. They've reached a final of the European Championship. They've gone to European Championship final. Spain, they've won a Nations League. We saw them win the World Cup. We saw them win Euros, World Cup, Euros back to back, and they won the Euros last year.
Yeah.
France, they won the Nations League. They've won the World Cup. They've gone to World Cup final, and they've also gone to the European Championship final and European Championship semi-final. So it shows, man, that winners win. Winners just win, bro. That's it. It doesn't matter if winners win, cuz. It doesn't matter. Winners fucking win, cuz. It doesn't matter if we're playing money up in the playground. Winners win. Win, yeah. So, I'm not trying to hear this loser rhetoric from losers, cuz. You get what I'm saying? So you make a good point there. So considering all of that, obviously teams. I'm enjoying it. Yeah, great. So am I. Teams have gotten in for like winning in previous years. Who are your actual favorites? Are you like 100% sure European team's going to win it, or do you think we could be surprised by one? I think we could be surprised. I think the elements do play a factor. The heat and also the fatigue from a long European season could play a factor. And the South American team, I think, because football, any top sport, the margins make a difference. The difference between a Premier League top player and a Premier League good player might be 1%. Do you get what I'm saying? So the margins make a difference. So that's why when you see some of our favorite players get a little bit slower, we see the difference in their production. Yeah. So how the South American teams are able to play at a level of intensity and keep it up longer in this heat might make the difference. You get what I'm saying? Because there's been a lot of competitive games. I was watching a game. Yeah. I was watching Dortmund play, I think the South African team. Yeah. Bro, the game ended up 3-4. And the team was pushing pushing to get an equalizer. I saw Chelsea get beat up. Was it Flamingo they lost to? Yeah, yeah. So did I.
Was it Fluminense they lost to?
Fluminense. Was it Fluminense? No, Fluminense don't wear red and black.
I think they do, but let me check.
Because Fluminense, they won yesterday 4-2.
Let me check. While you're talking, I'll check. Yeah, no, it's not Fluminense, it's somebody else. Let me go and check. Keep going though. I'm listening.
Chelsea. I just typed in Chelsea lost. Why is it not coming up?
They've wiped it from the
Flamingo. Yeah, that's right. Flamingo.
Flamingo. Yeah, that's it. That's what.
Yeah, I think Vinicius.
My bad, Flamingo fans.
I think Vinicius used to play for them because I recognize that kit.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think if I'm gonna go favorites, I'll say the two teams from what I've seen so far. PSG just because PSG are just 9, and also Bayern Munich because of Bayern Munich's firepower.
Yes,
so
you lost to Botafogo.
Huh?
What did you? They lost the other day to Botafogo.
Yeah, they had to lose eventually. Do you know what I'm saying? They want to be getting Actually, no. Did Musiala get injured?
Maybe Musiala got injured.
I think I saw something on that.
They lost the other day. Funnily enough, so I think that's testament to the quality. That's testament.
No, Musiala's fine. He's going to be a team trainer.
The weather, the elements, and I think all those things will play. The European team playing at the end of a long season, all those things will play a part. But I'm loving how it's helping people like even revise their opinion on South American football. I don't know why, and Dan Soft was talking about it in the chat the other day. I don't know why European fans always had this opinion like South American football is soft. Like Argentina are hatchet men. They do not play
hatchet men.
I think because of like guys like Riquelme and Messi and Maradona and Aymar and Aguero and Tevez, all these Ortega, all these guys that they've had over the years. People think like Argentina, like so flair. Bro, their football is ghastly.
If you watched the Copa America final between them and Brazil,
oh my god,
what they were doing to Neymar was insane.
To now, the dirtiest game I've ever watched. That wasn't football.
I couldn't believe what they were doing.
That wasn't football.
That was not football. They weren't playing football, bro.
So
they were not playing football.
I'm loving it. And then obviously you add the money element as well. Like even you're getting to the quarterfinals, you're getting to the semi-finals, you're talking about 40, 50, 60 million dollars for these clubs, which is you needed to be in this, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was one of the people who I didn't believe in the quality of the. I had that arrogance like early years. I remember having a conversation about Dan stuff about this, but it wasn't. But I didn't think that the league was soft. Like I thought the league was probably the most physical league. Because if you actually watch the highlights of like the players that come out of that league, so them times would have been Douglas Costa, that would have been looking at Aguero, Alexander Pato, Falcao, some of these type of players. You see some of the challenges these men are having to deal with.
Right.
It is barbaric, bro. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy that we're seeing, like I saw a lot of people say, raw, like Portuguese league is definitely better than, the Brazilian league is definitely better than the Portuguese league. So I'm happy that a lot of these
yeah, they have turned Gyökeres's 39 goals into 18.
I saw that tweet and I started dying.
So said, yeah, I think Gyökeres's 39 goals are actually 18 goals now. So
I saw that and I started laughing.
His transfer value is literally plummeting in front of our eyes. So yeah, we'll see. Let's quickly talk about this awards season in the Premier League. So Premier League Player of the Year nominees have come up. We've got Isak, Bruno Fernandes, Declan Rice, Cole Palmer, McAllister, and Mo Salah. Before we get into who's probably going to win, Salah, what are your thoughts on the actual final list? Because obviously anyone who watches Touchline, listens to Touchline, is a listener to the club pods, knows within the pockets there are different players that certain club pods root for. There's certain rivalries and conversations. What is your thought on the initial 6? And are there any players that you feel should have been included in that 6 that weren't?
Yeah, I think I don't agree with the initial 6. But again, with the PFA players, because it's the players, I don't have as much disdain towards it because the players are the ones competing and they look at different things because they play, if that makes sense. So I kind of like, don't agree, but cool, it is what it is. I think the only 2 names that I would have had in my list from that would have been Isak and Salah, of course. I think the other names are quite laughable, to be honest. I think Palmer had a brilliant initial burst. Then he was very, very poor for the majority of the season. I felt Rice was very poor for half the season, and then good to very good for the rest of the season. McAllister is a player that people only notice when he's playing good. I find that quite funny. And who else was there? McAllister, Rice, Bruno Fernandes again. Bruno Fernandes again. He was diabolical for the first half of the season and fantastic for the second half of the season, right? So I just don't really understand that. I think Tielemans has been the best midfielder in the league by a country mile. So I think he should have been included. I think Haaland should have been included because I think Haaland still had a great season. It's because Haaland's levels are so high.
I don't know, man.
I don't believe in judging players against themselves because Haaland.
I don't think his performances across the 38 games were particularly good, though, and I don't think they generally are. I think what we usually get is that he has such a glut of goals, i.e., like 30 plus, that you're like, you cannot ignore this amount of goals. Did he score 25? I don't think he scored 25.
Haaland scored better goals, so I'll bring it up now. I think Haaland scored the most non-penalty goals in the league, if I remember correctly. I think Mbeumo not being there is laughable. Yeah, Haaland got 22 and 31. Yeah. Mbeumo not being there is laughable. Cunha not being there is laughable. So Cunha and Mbeumo, Tielemans, Salah, Isak, that's fine. And there's other names. I think Gabriel could have easily been there. I think he was the best defender in the league for a long time. Even though I don't like rewarding defenders, you could if somebody said Van Dijk, I can hear it. Even though he got injured, I think Saka's level of performance was so exceptional in the early parts of the season that, because Saka did the same thing all these other guys did.
I think it's the opposite. I think we've had this conversation before, right? The season's in inverse. So actually the inverse of what you were saying earlier. So, like, for example, with your Rice or Bruno Fernandes example, they started the season poor and underwhelming. And because they finished it strongly, that is what's most prevalent in memories. We also have to remember, like you said, this is the players voting. So sometimes they just vote based on, I played this player, and when I played him, he was class.
Yeah.
I don't know that they necessarily watch as much football as we watch. And there was one season where KDB was absolutely average, and he still got the votes for Player of the Year. And I can't remember.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
what specific year it was. But for me, I agree with you in regards to those guys who did Fernandes and Rice, but I'd also include Saka in that as well. I think half season was brilliant, but for me, I'm looking for 2/3 upwards of the season.
No, I agree with that. But if you're gonna put man like Palmer, Fernandes, and Rice and McAllister, really, who maybe McAllister not as much because he was a bit more sporadic. Oh, Gravenberch was another one. That was my final.
He kind of pitted out towards the end.
Yeah, but he was like cold from the start to like maybe Jan Feb. When was that extended McAllister period? Did I miss it?
Can't remember it. I think he finished strongly, and I think he was like steady Edwards.
Yeah. So, and this is my thing, and this is what I don't really like about when we have these conversations, because there's no real people change the metrics they judge these things depending on which ones suit the player that they want to set at the time. And that's why I've never been. That's why I just hate the consistency debate, because people just change their opinion on what consistency is all throughout. So yeah, for me, my 6 would have been Salah, Isak, Tielemans, Cunha, Mbeumo, and Gravenberch. That would have been my 6.
So none of them defenders, yeah. And then who would you have had winning it?
Would have had Salah.
Yeah, that's a win for the Salah truthers, brother.
Yeah, begrudgingly.
Yeah, it is what it is. We've seen some recent news. Paul Pogba looks like he'll be making a comeback. Strong links to Monaco. That's also kind of shoehorned alongside. I feel like I see a Pogba comp every day. There was a conversation going on about Musa Dembele from Spurs, and people are like, have a word. Like, he was never that. He was a good player, but this kind of trying to redefine him as like a generational player who was underrated. Can we please get a grip? As somebody who was constantly an advocate for Pogba when he was at Manchester United, had to fight in the group chats, our group chats, fought online as well. How is this a case of this? Couple of questions. Chickens coming home to roost in terms of people's perception of Pogba, and secondly, what do you think has changed in terms of how people view Pogba? That the conversation is happening, what now, like 5 years or so later?
Okay, so question one: people are frauds and they're full of shit. I like that people didn't allow the Dembele revisionism. I remember, I'll call him up personally. Leroy from Touchline used to try to say Dembele was better than Pogba, which I just thought was just a ridiculous footballing opinion, because Pogba has a better left foot than Dembele. So how does that fucking work? If my weaker foot is better than your stronger foot, how could you be better than me at football? It just never makes sense. And the majority of times they played, they got belt to ass. Especially, I remember one time, I think it was FA Cup semi-final, belt to ass. But 3 months later, semi-finals of the World Cup, belt to ass again. In fact, a lot of the players that were supposed to be better than Pogba, when they linked Pogba, it was actually a belt to ass session. Especially Toni Kroos in that Euros. Oh my God, he got absolutely annihilated.
Toni Kroos knows where his bread is buttered.
Huh?
Toni Kroos knows where his bread is buttered. No doubt.
He got bossed technically and physically. Anyway, so that's that. I just think people are just full of shit. Now, the second question, I think it's because the tribalism is out away. So now he doesn't play for Man United anymore, and that Man United state is far removed. And two, because Pogba is not a current active player in the league that we're following, the propaganda and the ridiculous narratives around him isn't influencing people's opinions on Pogba. Because Pogba was judged against, I always said that Pogba was judged by standards that people will never hold any other players standards to. All the players that people told us that were better than Pogba didn't have to play as good as Pogba, as often as Pogba, which never made sense to me. Because surely the better players have better standards. But what do I know? So now, because remember, now, Man United is far removed.
Yeah.
He's not playing for Man United anymore. Right. Now, all people are seeing is what he was doing on the pitch.
Right.
And they've got something to reference that to. Everybody else playing right now. And it's not, and it's a stark difference from everybody else. It's a stark difference. Because people see, wow, wait, what? This guy was dribbling he wasn't just dribbling like a winger, he was dribbling like a top winger. Oh my God, look at all these passes. Oh my God, left foot, right foot. Wow, what a player. Fucking It's bloody ridiculous. What the fuck were you not watching?
We're here now.
Man were telling me Partey. Sorry, let me get this off. Partey, Rakitic, Benega, Jack Wilshere, Gundo fucking Han, Bernardo fucking Silva. Bernardo Silva and Gundogan. Better Pogba.
Yeah.
Kante, Matuidi.
No, no one said Matuidi, man.
I promise. Well, like they said Matuidi.
Blazu, no one said Blazu.
Well, like they said Matuidi's, man.
No one said
Vidal. Oh, all these players.
You know what?
Crazy.
It's so interesting because people's issue with him, let me be specific to that, to Touchline guys, is like he wasn't a midfield metronome, i.e. like 100 touches, 100 passes. But now we watch the game, same people say, as much as they love that profile, bit overrated probably.
Oh, what do you know?
And actually the skill set which Pogba had, which is like he could play 4-5, which they were also waxing lyrical about KDB in the Manchester City team, having pretty much the same performances, right? Just better players on the end of said passes to turn those passes into assists. Now they see the value of a decisive game breaker for midfield. You can create match-winning chances.
The same people who are telling me how great Declan Rice is, Slaughter Pogba, do you know how fucking crazy that is? Do you know how nuts that is?
I do, brother.
That's nuts. That is nuts. A man, when the pressure's on, treats the ball like it's a weapon of mass destruction, is meant to be better than Pogba.
WND, brother.
No. They didn't say he's better than Pogba, but they talked about Partey like he was Partey.
Yeah.
Because Partey will drop the shoulder. No. The Pogba thing is one of the most despicable football discussions of all time. Because I don't understand how somebody who has 10 out of 10 tech for his position, 10 out of 10 PMP, creativity, and to be fair, like if you pick 10 random Pogba games, he played good in at least 7. He'll have a diabolical game in there, don't get me wrong. His floor may be lower than everybody else's floor in that top level midfielder.
Yeah.
But his high was better than everybody else's, and his standard was better than everybody else's. people are pressed because Bernardo Silva run around in circles, not losing the ball, giving it sideways.
And he's been playing like
well
that.
done.
He's been playing like that for years. He's been playing like that for years, by the way, and he's been getting away with murder. If we're being
I've been telling people about this, and this is not revisionism from Dysonomics. I never understood why they will rate guys who were get the ball, knock it sideways. They're doing good things, but I don't know how that's more valuable than this player picked the ball up in his own half and played an inch perfect pass across over 10 different people with either foot 3-4 times a game, or he could get the ball outside on the left wing and just delete a player and play a perfect pass for somebody to score. Or he could just run and bang it top corner. And he could do the metronome things as well. Not as consistent as other guys, but he went a metronome. Like, people weren't judging Kante. Like, people don't want to judge other players on... You don't judge a DM on attacking midfielder profile. So why are you judging attacking midfielder profile and DM profile? It never made sense.
Oh, you can't tackle. Why are you getting stuck in? It's absolutely arsenal. I think you're so right. They wanted him at any given time to be every single type of midfielder all at once. And I think part of that was because of his how he physically looked. So he was tall and athletic, and let's call a spade, black. And so they expect you to be running around, getting stuck in, nasty sort of player. But Paul Pogba was a flair, creative player. You know, I love Zidane. There's an old video on YouTube now where basically Zidane caught Pogba doing something eerily similar. They both had that same sort of like tall gait. You can play them any sort of ball. They're trapping it, bringing it under control. Can do crazy things, obviously, with their right foot. Do crazy things with their left foot. Can dribble and beat players. Pirouettes, crazy touches, crazy finishes, crazy passes. Creativity to me is nothing is going on. You lot can't even see a picture. I'm going to create a picture. That to me is creativity. Those are the players, and those players are rare and far between. And I think we have to, as football fans, do a better job of removing the tribal. We love football and we love our teams, right? But we need to remove that tribalism from what we're trying to observe. Like a lot of the players that these fans rate, put that same player in another team and they wouldn't rate them half as much.
100%.
That's not how I consume football.
Neither do I. The thing you said about Zidane is so true, because I remember, I think Antoine was the one who said, he goes, if Pogba was white, they would have said that's the next Zidane, because of similarities in the way that they move and the technique. Like, I would love us to do like a scouting report maybe on Pogba and watch some of these games, because I know what I saw. Because I've gone back and watched some stuff. I'm like, this is a game that this Pogba's performance for. And it's infuriating. What you said about creativity is so true. Because that's why I hate this chances created bollocks. So I'll give you a scenario about why I think this shit is so dumb. Both these things will be a chances created. I'm not sure you remember this KDB. I'll use KDB, so show them what assist for Leroy Sané. I think it was against Sunderland or Stoke, where he plays his ball across the ground and it takes out everybody.
I remember.
He travels out 40, 50 yards and Sané hits it in near post. Yeah? That's a chance created, right?
Yeah.
If you give somebody the ball where KDB had the ball 100 times, pick 100 random players, they are not, a goal's not coming from that or chance.
Yeah.
That's creativity. He magicked that out of thin air. Now, let's do this example. I don't know. Let's say it's, I don't know. Let's use England. Okay, let's say Declan Rice clips the ball over the top and it goes across to Madueke. Madueke's through on goal because Declan Rice has just clipped the perfect pass over the top. Madueke's through on goal, but Harry Kane's to his right. Madueke plays a 5-yard pass, 10-yard pass across the box. Harry Kane to tap in, right? In that instance, the chance created was Madueke. Was Madueke's action creativity?
No.
Really, truly, the creativity has probably come for the pass to Declan Rice, because he's taken out the defensive line, the midfield line with that pass over the top, and that's why I don't vibe with the creativity, the chance to create stat. Because somebody like Trent, I do think Trent does have creativity. If Trent just whips in a cross and I head it, like he's just spamming crosses in the box, is that really creative? Like, to me, creativity is when you're making something happen where something shouldn't happen. So if you get into a good crossing position, something should potentially happen because you got position to cross the ball.
Yeah, I think for Trent, it is more the quality of the execution in places. There's some passes that he played which are like inch perfect. Like the weight of it is like player perfectly in stride, Guys aren't really going to try that pass because it's kind of like a outswinger that comes right and Salah's stride.
Yes.
Or
And that's why he's crazy. Yeah.
That's creativity. But I agree with you. Them halfway line back stick diags that he does, that he falls in love with, those aren't creative. They look pretty.
That's what I'm saying. So to
that's not creativity.
So to be creative players in the Premier League right now, there are a dime a dozen, really. I'll say like Palmer, Maddison. Now we've got Checker in the league. Wirtz is meant to be the type of player. Bruno. Odegaard is doing his best to lose that tag. I think he needs to be a bit more assertive. But Odegaard is one of those type of players. Like there isn't Gibbs White, Eze. There isn't that many, right? There isn't really that many. And to me, creativity is not that you can create chances, because Saka can create chances. Kieran Trippier can create chances.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Madueke can create chances. Creativity to me is you're doing something that's outside the box. You've seen a picture that other people haven't seen. You get what I'm saying? And that is what described Pogba to a T. Some of the things that he was doing don't even make sense. So I find it quite funny that people are now rating him. Well, it's good because it shows that, okay, cool, you have a bit of common sense. You're not all just completely stupid. But yeah, I do hope that if he does go to Monaco, that he can stay healthy. Monaco in the Champions League, which I think is a good platform for him to showcase what he's still got. I'm sure it'll take him some time to get back into the swing of things, but I think the happiest people should be Didier Deschamps and the French squad. Right. Because ever since Pogba's gone,
that midfield is bleeding.
Yeah, ever since Pogba and Kante have gone, it's been bleeding because Pogba and Kante never lost a game in 90 minutes. Ever. Really? Yeah, never lost.
Wow.
Never lost. Proper steppers, because you've got the best of defensive and the best of offensive. And Kante, he could dribble a bit, or Pogba, he could defend and tackle and head a bit. Do you know what I mean? So they had a nice balance. Like if you got them two, you don't need a third midfielder.
Yeah.
But they'll have Griezmann in there anyway to help. Yeah. So they'll pattern. And now you see with the French team, as we saw in the what's that thing called? The Nations League. And even in the Euros, they were so blunt and bland. They didn't have any flair, creativity. And it was heavy reliance on Mbappe. And in the Nations League, they couldn't really do anything until Shaqiri came on. Only Dembele said stuff. And even I think even Mbappe said that when I was playing with Pogba, I'll just run because I know the ball's going to get there. Now Pogba, this is not my word, this is Mbappe's words. Yeah. Now Pogba in there, that pass ain't coming.
Facts. So, it was a very unique skill set, and I think sometimes people took what he did for granted. And thought, it's a super team. It's a super team. It's a super team because he was one of the super players, and one of the two most important players since we've seen. And obviously Kante too, but Kante got hooked in the World Cup final. You don't speak on that. Basically, one of the two most important players for making that team tick. Picking the ball up off the defenders, linking the midfield in the attack, creating chances, game-winning moments, match-winning moments. Yeah, he had it. He had it all. He had it all, really. So I'm hoping that he goes to Monaco, a team who's going to be playing in Europe. I'm hoping this time out he's had, I think, what is it, coming up to 2 years? He's actually able to get his body right because he's become very, very injury-prone, and he's able to have 2-3 good years playing at the highest level in France, doing his thing, man. I would love a nice little, swan song to his career.
And I think Pogba, although, because what made Pogba like Pogba was that he was pretty fast, but he was super powerful. He could run for days. He could jump. I don't think he's going to be the same level of athlete, but I think this might show people, because again, he's a black, tall midfielder, so they don't get the same love as the small Mediterranean players there. But technically, he is incredible. So there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to play at a high level for a long period of time. So fingers crossed he stays healthy and he can still play high level European ball for the next couple of years or 3-4 years.
I agree. The transfer of Florian Wirtz has been confirmed. I think that's 160 million pounds all in. So that's a British transfer record. I think 135 million euros of stuff. Out, boys. The Liverpool's team coming together. What are your thoughts on the signing? Does this make Liverpool favourites to repeat? Does them and City have also had a good summer? Have they separated themselves from the rest of the pack again? What are your thoughts on the impact of this signing?
I think what I like is that the Premier League was able to get one of the rising stars in his prime. So I thought that was impressive. Liverpool flexing their muscles, be able to beat out, I believe it was Bayern and City. So that's impressive for them. I think it adds extra flair to Liverpool But I think Liverpool had a lot of how Liverpool breaking teams down was they have distant shooters. So Salah, McAllister, the odd Szoboszlai, the odd Diaz, the odd Gakpo as well, Trent can shoot from the edge of the box. So if you're in a low block, they can score from the edge of the box because they've got people who are very good at shooting. But their main thing was in transition, they were super deadly. They flood bodies forward and they're excellent at it. Where they could improve was low block, shutting things off. How can we lock that door? And I think that's where Wirtz can help them. Wirtz, he's a good dribbler. Again, my knowledge of Wirtz is not as extensive as others. Mine is more from like seeing games here and there for Leverkusen, games here and there for Germany, and watching comps. But you can see that good close control, good dribbler, got IFR pass. So I think that's somebody that could be potentially dangerous. I think Sky Sports posted this like breakdown of attacking midfielders. One, the fact that Odegaard wasn't in that W for me. So it was Wirtz, Palmer, Bruno, Maddison, and I think maybe Gibbs White. No, Morgan Rogers, sorry.
Yeah.
Morgan Rogers, right? And what stood out to me in our breakdown was that he had the most take-ons. He had a large number of take-ons, an amount that you expect from a winger.
66 from Morgan Rogers, who we know in the Premier League.
Yeah, who's been.
Yeah.
So I think that's important because players and that's why I think these are the best players. The guys who can dribble and beat players means that I've taken one player out of the defensive shape. Now either I've got space to do my thing, or somebody has to come out of their defensive shape to commit to me.
Right.
And that's causing disruption in your shape. Yeah. It's just like in basketball, like when you beat someone else to dribble and then there's a help defender. Now you got people rotating. Now you can find the gaps of rotation and find shooters or whatnot, or get your shot off. So I think that's what Wirtz can help them with. In terms of your second question about does this pull them away, I still feel like if Liverpool get like another goal scorer to go along with Salah, it'll be quite hard to compete with them again. Because I'm not sure if City will have that supply line to Haaland again, because KDB's a different level. Oh shit, Rodri's back though. So okay, now I need to see how City could bring together Cherki into this team, because if they can get Cherki into the midfield, because when I saw them play, he was playing false nine, and that's a bit weird. But I'm not sure if that's because of who's available and whatnot. If they can get Cherki into the team, because he's a supreme creator, with Tijani Reinders, who looks like a quality player, he's got the power and the dribbling and the speed ready for the Premier League, and he's got technique. With Rodri, and I think Mamouche is a shooter. Haaland, we know, is a shooter. Now, if they can get Haaland and Mamouche shooting, they're going to be hard to stop as well. My next thing is, can they defend? Because I know Liverpool can. Can they defend? And I still think Arsenal are going to be in the mix anyway, because I think Arsenal just don't concede goals. They don't concede goals. They tend to win the midfield battle most games, so they're going to be a hard team to beat. So I don't think it's going to separate them, because I still think Arsenal are going to be there. But if Liverpool get a striker, then I might be like, a shooter plus Salah, it could get long. But yeah, I think the Wirtz signing is very, very much needed, and I think it might even help them even more in Europe as well, because you saw they didn't really have the answers for PSG at all.
Yeah,
them crash bang wallop guys weren't moving the needle against PSG.
Crash bang wallop. I'm intrigued to see what attacking reinforcements Arsenal get. They need another striker. Guys, go check out the Touchy Gunas Patreon pieces.
Yeah, they're great stuff.
Pesto, I think they did one on Liao as well. I don't know if they've done another one in recent days, but they need more firepower.
I think one on Rodrigo recently.
Oh, Rodrigo, interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think where you talk about that kind of committing players and space, etc., because they're so focused on the right-hand side, teams are able to double up, triple up on Saka, and there's no actual fear that the other guys are going to do anything. Odegaard, atrocious season, Martinelli, and then whoever they have up top. So is they even able to get Odegaard back to previous levels, or even half of previous levels, so he's somewhat of a threat, and then either the striker or whoever the left sided attacker is, it suddenly should create a bunch of space for Saka. And you have a player who can also contribute and be a match winner. Remember, we had like Liverpool, Salah, and Mane, like the blueprint. They when they're both playing good, you're holding four. And one of them is when one of them is playing good, that's a match winner for you. You know, it could be via pass, could be via dribbling, could be via goal, but you kind of need those two of your front three to be triple threat attackers.
And I think that's why City might be mad this year with Haaland and Mamouche. And because they could potentially go Haaland, Mamouche, Foden, and if Foden, because Foden, like, of course, last season wasn't great. Well, Foden's a shooter. One thing about Foden, that boy's a shooter.
Can finish, yeah.
That boy's a shooter. So it depends. Like, they've got options now. Do you get what I'm saying? So it'll be interesting. But yeah, I definitely think Arsenal need that. And I feel like Arsenal have a lack of actual flair players, right? So
who do you call their flair players right now?
Huh?
Who do you call their flair players right now?
I don't think they have one. I think Gabriel Jesus is a flair player, but he doesn't play. And Trossard kind of is a flair player because Gabriel Jesus and Trossard can just do something mad that nobody's expecting. Whereas Saka, what Saka does, you expect it, but Saka's brilliance is in his execution. That his touch is going to be quality. If he cuts inside to shoot, the shot's going to be on target. If he goes on the right hand side, the clip to back post is going to be on target. His movement is going to be good. Like, do you get what I'm saying? His one, don't worry, he makes stuff happen, but his is just more from quality execution and repeatability. Whereas players like Turkey, Cole Palmer, that's a bit different. They could just do something mad that you just can't really anticipate. And I feel like Arsenal need a player like that because teams know when teams play Arsenal have a very strong territorial advantage. They suffocate the game and they pin you back for the most part. So that means 10 bodies in around the box. You're going to need somebody who's able to do something out of the ordinary. And I think that's where the links to obviously they lost. They're looking to lose out to Williams because he's probably going to go to Barcelona. But that's where the Rodrigo links make sense. I also think they should look at Eze as well. That's somebody else who I believe is.
Do you like Eze on the wing?
Yes, but I feel like Eze should be able to come off the wing, not just hug. It depends. If Arsenal want to hug touchline, okay, cool, then go. But is Rodrigo a hug touchline player?
No.
Exactly. So that's why I'm not really understanding the profile. Because you want Eze on the left, but you want Eze to come off the left, link up, you want him in around the box, finish. Yeah, so yeah, man. To be fair, if it's up to me, I'll run Arsenal to go with Martinelli. But I think they've been linked with Gordon though. That's interesting.
Why would Newcastle sell him?
Maybe the PSR situation.
They got Peas now though.
Yeah, but PSR,
I think they're. No, I don't mean that Peas as an organization. I mean that, i.e., their 3-4 year cycle now, they actually have money in the bank to spend. Which is why they wanted to get the Mbeumo. Because you add Mbeumo to their front line, you got Gordon, Isak, and Mbeumo. That's something. Now we're talking a little bit. With Harvey Barnes off the bench, Callum Wilson as a rotation player. That's a good set of attackers for Newcastle. So I don't think they need to sell at all. So I'll be intrigued to see who people get. We're going to see more happen in the next few months. Let's finish up with some listeners' questions. First question is from Flower Ranger 6. Is the Portuguese league on fraud watch?
I vow to not to entertain these things about these leagues unless I'm watching them.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to watch more European football this year. But the Club World Cup is not doing good PR for them. It's not doing good PR for them at all, cuz it's not. Their representatives are looking like the wackest ones there.
And those are the two of their top 3 teams. So yeah, it is looking a bit scary. Gyökeres's market value is also taking a plummet as the result of Porto and Benfica.
Even his transfer strategy is a bit wild because man made it known that he don't want to go United, but Arsenal don't want him. Now you can't spin the block now.
Yeah, he's touching himself out. It's shameful.
It's actually shameful. I don't think his agents played it well at all.
No motion. But I heard they got Jorge Mendes involved now.
That's just okay. Cool. He's gonna get moved. He did the right thing.
He played for Real Madrid in a week. Like Jorge Mendes,
I'm telling you right now, Mendes is getting that brother a move because boy, he's gonna take a listen.
Has the conveyor belt on talent in Europe. He has teams in his pocket. He's like, if you don't take this guy,
Don't call me. Don't call me for my man, bro.
But the thing is, though, he knows what clubs to run that with. And Manchester United are top of his list when it's time to offload a guy who ain't really that good.
Well, I saw that I saw that Young Mendes news, I saw somebody say, "Welcome to Manchester United. Speak to your curse."
Is that real?
And I believe it too.
He's Ugarte's agent as well.
Yeah.
I think
we're gonna be like, yo, hey, man, this midfielder for Portugal, we need him. He's like, okay, cool, but you know the price of business, boy. You have to go get my boy Gyökeres.
Shit sandwich, bro. Like you're gonna get the player you want, but you're gonna have to take some.
How much do you think Mendes is worth?
Take some dead salary with that, man.
Bro, it's literally at the trade. We have to take a dead. You have to take on a bad salary. Man, take it on the what's his name, Bradley Bill contracts.
So I think I agree with you. You can't really do that with leagues, but I think that combined with something I read a few weeks ago, I think Elijah retweeted it, which said like the Portuguese league on average is at League One level.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you watched the tapes of Gyökeres, you weren't impressed.
Yeah.
So that was against Portuguese level players. Increase the level that comes when you come to the Premier League. You're getting 12 league goals, brother. 65 mil for 12 league goals. Can't do it, man. Already got one of them. Can't do it again. Next one is from Dave 166666. That's 5 sixes. What do you guys dislike most about football Twitter? For me, it's rewriting players' careers. Giroud went from being clearly not good enough to suddenly being better than Lukaku. And as you would see in this clip, CR7 went from top 5 ever to not top 30 of all time.
Whoever doesn't have CR7 and not top 30 of all time is generally insane, and they're not worth listening to. Giroud over Lukaku is fucking crazy. That is crazy work. What I hate about football Twitter, which is just a microcosm of reality, is how much players' reputation goes into the analysis. So, but like, how can you say this about this player and it won't be, and I'll never get the return of, yeah, but look how this player does this in his game, or this player does this in his game. It's just, no, you can't say about this player. This player's team won the league. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I dislike about football Twitter the most.
And it's a lot of like reading players' reputations off their Wikipedia page.
Yep.
And you're retrofitting how you feel about a player based on what their Wikipedia page says. And that to me, like you said, we watched these players, we experienced it. So that, and I think the other thing I dislike is like, do football Twitter fans like football?
No, they don't. They don't. It's weird. It's weird. It's like the way they communicate don't make sense. Like, so I'll be like, oh, I wasn't really enjoying this. I don't enjoy how the guy plays. And they'll tell me about GNA. Like, okay, cool. What's the GNA got to do with what I watched?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like there's this sports fandom thing where fans are caught up in stats, narratives, and they don't actually enjoy watching the sport for the art of it anymore. So that's what I probably dislike. Like, I'm with you. We'll slap a GNA thing in front of you. You know, that Premier League comparison thing that gives me that when I see it. Like, you see one that will be a few seasons or some current seasons. And posted it in one chat the other week. No context. What am I looking at here? What assessment do you want me to make from this? All seasons 9 and 8, a few seasons 7 and 8. Like, what is the current season bad? Is it good? I can't even remember who the two players were, but I think as always, the litmus test will always be the watching of players, consuming as much tape. I think the scouting reports speak to it so much because guys who are actually a lot higher on Tesco, because when you look at his finishes, they're boom blasters. Actually, okay, when he's doing everything apart from scoring, which is going to be most of your game, right? What is he doing? 50-50s. How does he link up? What's his touch like under pressure? What's his touch like not under pressure? What sort of vision he has? What sort of passing range? How does he physically engage? Does he win his aerial duels depending on his size? You have to watch, man. And it's okay not to know everything. Like, I can't watch as much football as I used to watch 10 years ago. Just don't have the time for it. And so I stay within the areas that I watch well, and I'm confident in my assessment, my opinion on the things I watch regularly. And the areas I don't, I defer to people who supposedly do. Or I go out and seek out my own. If I really want to know about a player, I'll go and watch a few games and then come back with an opinion. So I think that will be the biggest thing I find annoying. I don't think the fans enjoy the game, and the ones who supposedly watch it, how they watch it and how they consume it, how they talk about it. Yeah, you don't love the game.
Facts. Couldn't agree more, Gaffer.
Nice one. Next one is Adam_SEG. What's the most wrong you've been about in football? Could be about a player, team, match, or season prediction. I'm embarrassed at how much I rated Pedro Neto before he went to Chelsea.
I think there's still time for Pedro Neto. I think he started to play well towards the end of the season. But yeah, I rated him a lot as well. He was looking nasty. I would say my opinion on Kante. Because I just thought he was just another shin kicker. But like he was really like that. Like he could play. He can play. He's a special player. He's not like the other shin kickers. That like one, he wins the ball way better than everybody I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Way more often. So for that alone, but he can play because he does things quick. Dribble, one pass, one player. And where he goes, he elevates his teams.
Every team, yeah.
And that's a very rare thing for midfielders to do. So not my style of player, but that's why I was wrong on him. But that's a baller still.
Yeah, a couple, and this probably speaks to my naivety and how I've grown up watching the game. I loved Ander Herrera when he first came. I think he was part of that Bilbao team that battered us, and I said, yeah, this guy is going to be class. He's going to be one of the best midfielders in Europe. By the time he left, I detested him.
Herrera?
Yeah, Ander Herrera.
Oh,
yeah. I thought he was going to be so good, and then by the time he left, I detested him. And it's so funny, this takes me back to uni. I really wanted Morayo and Fellaini at a time. And I remember me and my mate were watching matches today one time. I was like, we need this guy. And then I was like, so not Messi, not Tony Kroos. You need Morayo and Fellaini, yeah? And I started laughing. I was like, oh, well, we can't get Messi. But it was so funny. And again, another player who then came to my team and I ended up detesting. So I think that those are the ones that stand out in my mind. Me thinking that Herrera was going to be a top midfielder based on the little of him that I saw at Bilbao. And I think a lot of it was based on that trouncing they gave us. And the fact that when he was at Everton, I was a Fellaini truther. No.
It's funny because I actually saw Fellaini. Funny you said that. I saw Fellaini Cup like 2 hours ago. And I was like, he has a Hall of Fame celebration.
Yeah.
All those back post headers, when he'll do the...
I feel like somebody had like a list of all our signings and had him as a flop. I was like, how? How could you?
No, he actually won a flop. He's better than most of our signings.
Yeah, like we paid like 30 million for him, a bunch of match winners for us. And what was the expectation? I don't think really the expectation was him to be a starter. Like at Everton level, I think our time played off the front man, which is insane. I've asked me brought him to be like a DM boxer. Football's fascinating, man. Stature levels really matter in this game. Cool. Next one. Miraculous Miri, shout him out. He always sends questions in. Where best should the resurrection of Grealish of Jack take place? Why are you talking like this? Hotspur of Tottenham, the Villa in Aston, the Castle of New.
It's interesting because obviously now they got Thomas Frank. I'm not sure how Thomas Frank would use him. I already kind of know how Newcastle play. I don't think because Newcastle got Gordon and Barnes, so I just don't feel like it's
mismatch. Man, sorry to cut you. I want to go back to like when we used to discuss him at Villa and why Seb will always say, "Nah, Philip's like this guy's just got an ultimate green light. Like he just gets to go out there and mess up and get the ball again and again and again and again until he does something right." Similar to when Lingard went to West Ham. Unless you're giving him that role in your team, you're not going to ever see the Villa Grealish, whatever that was. Like,
I think with Grealish, yeah. I think his thing is, the thing is that he's not like he was messing up. He just wasn't really doing anything, because I don't think Grealish was as good, definitely not as good as I thought, in terms of you can only stay in this position. Can you be efficient and productive with your touches? And he couldn't.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean that he can't play. Grealish can play. And Grealish is a clever passer, a clever player. So if he can come off the touchline, he can create chances. So it'll have to be a club where he can come off the touchline. Maybe not Spurs. Okay, maybe he could drug at Spurs because he could be able to link up with Madders and that. You know what I mean? So maybe Spurs, but I'm not sure if that's what my man wants. Again, this is a new club.
About like high octane, fast attackers, can beat players, take players on, create stuff. Even small throwback. I'd like probably play him centrally at this point. Like central.
Yeah, I think he's been linked with Napoli along with Sancho. So obviously, my hope is for selfish reasons, I want them to get Sancho.
Yeah.
But I actually like Grealish more as a player. So I actually would like Grealish to go to Napoli because I think Grealish would do good in Italy.
Yeah.
I think if he plays this week, I can imagine them just like playing clever passes into Lukaku's feet, nice little clip balls into McTominay to crash it on some guys. So yeah, yeah, I like him as a player. Obviously, he still hasn't turned out for him, but I don't think he's whack or anything. I just think he just needs to go somewhere where he can play consistently and he has a bit more freedom. Maybe not the ultimate green like he had in Villa, but more freedom
to be himself. And I think that's so interesting when you talk about it because we probably don't talk about roles enough in.
We don't. We just think, oh, this player played good, this player played bad.
Yeah, and it's like, what's the role they were used at in their team? Were they a player who got a lot of the ball, and so they had that kind of opportunity to keep making things happen because there were no other players. Actually, this is where the stats I think come up. How efficient are they with their use of the ball? Actually, because once you go to a bigger team, you're sharing it. You're getting a third of the ball as much as you get a quarter, sometimes half of the ball. In that half, if you're getting half, are your stats going to half? And after that, you're not getting the ball. How are you useful? You know, what are you doing for your team? So I think it's fascinating. And then some guys, it's the opposite. They've only gotten this amount of touches. If we increase their volume, I feel like we're using basketball terms now. But if you increase the volume, do their stats go up as a result? Can they take more of the responsibility of being a player who has to take like 50 touches a game and they're responsible for unlocking and making things happen in the final third, creating space where there isn't space, creativity, as we talk about. So I think Grealish, I don't think anybody ever was like, yeah, this is going to work at City because it was so far removed from how he was used as Aston Villa.
I think I was the only one because I was like, he's better than these bozos they have right now.
Yeah,
but it didn't materialize. So I was wrong on that one as well.
Yeah, I didn't.
You should have come to us, man. You'd have done better at us.
We needed a guy who could just get the ball and make stuff happen, man. You can have the green light at ultra. I mean, that's what Bruno Fernandes has, right?
Ultimate green light.
Ultimate green light. Steph Curry, man. Next one is from the NPC. So this is Owen from New Spurs Order. Shout out Owen. With Lamine Yamal's current ability, how does he stack up against prime Robben, Hazard, and Bale? So I guess it's in rank Lamine now versus prime Robben, Hazard, and Bale.
He's better than all of them.
Now.
Better than all of them.
I don't think he's better than Hazard.
I
don't think he's better than Hazard.
Hazard's the only one where it's a competition.
He's better than them. But I don't mind the Robben and.
You don't think he's the best in the world right now, though.
I don't think he's the best in the world right now, and I'll stand on that, brother.
And who do you think is the best?
I think it's still a Kylian Mbappe.
Fucking hell, you still running that M transition shit?
I'm still running that.
You created M transition.
I created M transition. M transition trademarked it as well. I respect what he does, brother. I respect the output. I respect
created M transition.
Listen, he's if.
I was right there when you did it.
Listen, Mbappe is so sharp in his actions. He can dribble inside the box, outside the box, fast, live wire. I think he just has too much about him as a player still with the output for me to not say that is the best footballer on the planet. Lamine is not far off though. But I think I'm not mad at anyone who thinks Lamine is the best. I'm mad at you. I'm not like saying, oh, it's Mbappe and it's irrefutable that it's Mbappe. I'm saying right now, I feel like he still holds the belt and need a bit more to take it away from him because he's still such a good player who does so much for his team and shows so much quality on a game-by-game basis. Like, I think we spoke about going in, like, Dems was saying Vinicius is better than him. Night and day, man. I've watched those two in the same football team. Absolutely night and day. And
it is night and day. My only issue with Mbappe is he's regressed as a player.
Would you say he's regressed, or would you say the things that you, for example, like about Yamal and get you off your feet, which Mbappe had when he was younger, he's kind of removed those for his game in favor of efficiency? Kind of like how we saw Rooney and Ronaldo sort of grow up over the years.
The reason why I disagree because Mbappe was clapping goals sometimes anyway.
What are you talking about? Because His goal, he wasn't. He was 25-ish goals, right? We're talking about Monaco times, right? Monaco first year PSG. Now he's 40, 50.
Hold on, let me go check.
That's a 40% odd increase in the amount of goals you're scoring. That's not a.
Let me go check because he's been clapping hella goals for a long time.
He has.
Hold on, what is this goal doing to my flipping? Oh my God.
Like you're talking about, I'm sure you're talking about young Mbappe. You're talking Mbappe at the World Cup in 2018.
Yeah,
right?
Hold on. I want to get up his numbers, like, and his first 2 years at PSG. Because as you know, I watch them a lot. Bro, Mbappe's first year for PSG, he played 33 games and scored 39 goals, bro.
44. Well, first year for PSG, he's played 44 games and scored 21 goals. But yeah,
sorry. He's second year. Sorry.
Second year.
It's a load, isn't it?
That second year, it was still the Mbappe with.
Yes, it was.
You're talking about
that's 18-19.
You got to come for us, yeah.
Bro, that's 18-19. That's off the World Cup. That's literally the year off the World Cup.
Okay, so when are you saying the literal M transition happened to this version that you're seeing now?
The last 2021 onwards ish.
Okay.
Because that previous Mbappe, my goodness, that he was sharp. He's still sharp now, but the sharp is not like the dribbling. He was playing on the right wing. People forget that Mbappe started off playing on the right wing. It didn't matter. Man was getting beat up.
Yeah,
beat up. Like I'm telling that he's regressed to me.
Yeah, for
Don't
me,
be wrong.
Yeah.
I generally thought that Mbappe I saw could have been potential, like this is my opinion, who can challenge the Ronaldinho, Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, R9 batch of players. But I don't think he has the extra flair and genius about him anymore. He doesn't. He's more like latter Cristiano Ronaldo right now.
Pure.
Which is not an issue. He's still an all-timer. He's all-timer already.
Yeah, he is. And I think that's interesting because I think what you're saying is that you're seeing a player who sees the game and the pictures are faster in his head. And I feel like and so it has him. And then when you add the physical attributes and the technical attributes, it's a clear gap. But before you saw that with a bit more flair and imagination, and it's like he again sees his key metric is goals. If I've scored, I've done my job. You lot lost.
Because, for example, see France right now, they will fare a lot better if they had the older Mbappe. Because the older Mbappe will be like, okay, cool, just give me the ball out on the left and right. I'm going past two players. I'm forcing the issue. Whereas now, sometimes you see him try to do the ISO, and man are just padlocking him. It's very unusual for Mbappe. Don't get me wrong, he still gets past players, but before, do you remember that friendly when France went out to 10 men and it was Pogba, Lemar, Mbappe, and Dembele, and the way Mbappe and Dembele were frying up England.
I remember that when Mbappe, it was Dembele versus Walker.
And the first time we see Kyle Walker got outpaced.
Yeah, that was exciting. I hear you. Fair enough. I won't knock your shout. I think for me, he just still holds the belt. Holds the belt. So if you've got Lemar,
I do understand, even though I vehemently disagree. But I think just the way I judge players, to me, I feel like Yamal is so much better than everybody else right now.
Okay, and to be clear, what is it specifically about Yamal that he makes him the best?
He's a genius. The way he just creates out of nothing is mad. The way he beats people out of nothing is mad, and the game kind of revolves around him. He could not score, and he's the best player on the pitch. He didn't score in his league for 3 months or something wild like that. But if you were watching Barcelona, he was the best player on the pitch. He was cooking people. And even that Inter Milan second leg, they had 3 people on him, and he was getting past all 3.
Yeah, I think for me his best qualities are the one-on-one dribbling and passing angles that he sees.
It's the passing angles. I think that's his best quality.
Angles are insane. The passes that he sees, nobody else sees them. Nobody else. And if you see it, you can't execute it. I think that's his best attribute. His 1v1 is crazy, but because of his left foot dependency,
there is still something you could do with him because sometimes he does has to get forced down to the right hand side. And sometimes wrong, he goes to the right hand side, and sometimes he can cut back in on his left, or he could just kind of stand up a ball with his right. Whereas other players that we've seen in his potential tier of like best of the world, and that's like Ronaldinho in previous years, R9, Messi, Neymar. There's no side you can show them. Even Messi is so one-footed. You can show Messi down the right.
Yeah.
You know what's gonna happen. He's gonna cut back to his left.
He's gonna cook regardless, yeah.
And sometimes he might just rasp it off his right. Like, or he might just dink the keep off his right. But the passing angles, Morayo, he'll be dribbling, and then he'll just fire a ball into like somebody's feet in the box. Or that little clip he does to the back post. It's so
pattern, like that needs trademarking. Yeah, that needs trademarking. And
now to end the season, he just started banging it top corner of his left foot. And now I remember this is him at 17.
Yeah,
like the more he plays football,
between 17 and 20, depending on.
I want to do this with you.
I
want to do this with you.
Hustle Hard 309's you or Hustle Hard 304's kid. Yeah, I ain't mad if he's 20 though. Like, just say it. Like, even if he's 20, he's already in best in the world conversations. Like,
he's 17, cuz I'm not gonna let you do my young boy like that.
Listen, I have no skin in this game. I am merely presenting the facts and information that's been put out on the internet that they're saying he's between 17 and 20. And I'm saying, regardless of if he is 17,
20, what he's doing is a mad thing.
Is a mazine regardless. So if you're saying that he's the best player in the world, who have you got as the next best player in the world?
The next best player in the world I've got is Mbappe.
Okay, and then who do you have rounding out the top three?
Boy, it could be. And for me, the gap between I think there's a gap between them two, and after them is a big gap. Like, I need to watch more European ball this year, so I can have a closer, like, because what I want to say is between these three players, which is Musiala, Pedri, and Vitinha. But I want to watch a lot more ball. And one thing I know, ain't no Vinicius. I'll tell you that much. Ain't no Vinicius. Ain't no Salah. Ain't no Haaland. Ain't any of these them brothers. Do you get what I'm saying?
Well, Salah don't move you, yeah?
Nah. But it might end up being Ryan Cherky because, boy, that guy's nuts.
Next up. Are you? We have this conversation about Pep and squeezing the creativity out of players. Do you feel he's so good that he's too good to fail at City?
I don't think Pep squeezes creativity out of players. I feel like these players aren't as good as people think they are. Because I think with Pep's formation, my friend, with how Pep plays, you have to be efficient in your actions. You have to be efficient. You can't just have a million touches running around doing what you want to do. And we saw with KDB, he got it bracking. We saw with Mahrez, he had to adapt for a bit. He got it cracking. Even Cancelo right back, he got it cracking. Gundogan for 2 months a year, will get it cracking. Sterling and Sane, they got it cracking. So there's been plenty of players that have gone to City and have produced. Just because these bozos like Bernardo, Foden, and all these guys are going in and out, that's on them.
You're saying, your point is that Pep isn't telling Doku to go out there and not cook his man one-on-one. Pep isn't saying Goku, go out there, don't beat your man one-on-one, don't create no chances.
I think Doku gets such a hard rap because I think Doku's a good player, and I think Doku absolutely cooks people. And I think he creates destabilization. I prefer what Doku does when other people do. All they do is just fucking spam crosses in the box, and eventually one of them goes to somebody.
He can beat his man at a good clip. When he beats his man, now what? That's my issue with Doku. The consistency of that final ball.
We need to see more consistency, and I do agree. I do agree with that with you when it comes to Mr. Doku.
He's active. He's like busy. He's active. He's trying stuff. And I guess the other one, in terms of Foden, Pep's not going out there and saying have no influence on the game. Yeah. So that, like, when you play for Man City, 60% possession, you're in front of their box. You got man like Rodri who's just pinging you the ball left foot, right foot into the perfect pockets all game, and you do fuck all. And now it's Pep's fault. Like, no. The only thing that Pep did nasty was play a gazillion centre backs. That's the only thing that he did nasty. But his teams always attack. They always have flair. They always bang goals. Just that these men are ass. So I think Cherky, if he gets the ball in and around the box numerous times a game, he's going to do something. Yeah. And if he doesn't, it's on him. It ain't on Pep. Yeah, he's another special one. Left foot, right foot, can dribble. He has this tendency, like he plays like we say like 360. So he will be going down the right, and it's like it's not on. I'm just gonna pirouette. Going down the left, and I'll use dribbles with either foot. Can pass, could shoot. That goal he scored against. What a player, man! What a player.
He came on against
good hands.
My stuff.
What do you say?
He came on against Spain and he should like just a load of mad stuff. Like he showed his 2-foot ability because obviously his goal was with his left foot, right?
Yeah.
But he was taking free kicks with his right foot.
Yeah. Like, they don't talk about how 2-footed he is enough, to be honest. He has that like a rap as just like a purely left-footed baller, but he uses both feet all the time to do everything.
And he's a player that does this thing that I clocked all the players I like do it, and I just feel like is this just a creative player thing where they do like in and around the box they do this like little scoop pass where it's about knee high, but they like scoop it in between bodies, and then let's say it's Man City, so he'll be dribbling around the box, and then he'll scoop it between let's say Martinez and Euro. Do like a little scoop pass between Martinez and Euro.
The scoop is knee high, yeah?
Yeah, it's like knee high. It's just like in between a crowd of players. So dribbling in between players and just do a little quick scoop, and then before you know, oh, Marmoush is one the goalkeeper. Like the really like clever, gifted players do shit like that. Like Messi used to do it. Iniesta used to do it. I think Odegaard do it as well. Odegaard
and they see the game in 3 dimensions almost. Like
it's just a different level. Do you get what I'm saying? So So
City have tooled up for real. I'm fascinated to see how they look and how Pep leverages all the talent he has again. Next one is from _ Mo Shout out Mo Mars. Also a Discord regular. Why are Brazilian teams causing so much issues for European clubs in the Club World Cup? We talked about that earlier in the pod. And the last one's from Ralph Dingus, also on Pit Stop Fracas. For those watching, which players have caught your eye in the Club World Cup? Mora from Porto looks class. They've done it again, man. Portugal's conveyor belt. They say like France is the hotbed of talent. I think Portugal's the next one. Like the amount of quality players they consistently have coming out all over the pitch. Esteval looked good. I went to the game where they played Porto, and it was almost like a YG shoot off. Like,
we seen him more.
Yeah, it was a YG shoot off. When Inter Miami played their first game, I think they played Al Ahly, and their striker, something Wassam Ali or whatever. Baggy's looked at his goal record. He's bad goals. He's about 26 years old, Danish, or born in Denmark anyway. He looked pretty decent. I was like, United, should we be like? Listen, you got.
Obviously, he's already a household name now, and it's funny because he moves to a bigger club and he starts banging. It gets wrecked. But Elise, he looks sick.
Yeah. I think he obviously like almost 20 all comps this season, and then maybe 10.
He got 20 goals and 20 assists all comps.
Yeah, so he's obviously about to take that next step into the kind of superstar level, right? Him, Musiala, will be the future and the present of Bayern. So yeah, we'll see. There isn't anybody else that I would call out specifically, but from round of 16, I'm going to start watching all the games. So we'll definitely.
I think even Madrid are playing. Well, I think Juventus are playing now, but I think Madrid are
playing.
No,
Juventus won 4-1 earlier. Kenan Yildiz scored a hat trick. He's pretty good, to be fair. Turkish kid.
Yeah. He's rated early.
Madrid went a man down, and they're two up. 2-0. Gula and Bellingham. So
they're playing right now. I thought it was at 10.
Not 8. They're looking comfortable, even though they're down 10 men. They need the money, B. Like they need the money. They're trying to buy play. They even brought Trent in early. So good competition. And Chelsea are playing on Wednesday against ES Tunis. I think for Tunisia, obviously, and then PSG are playing tomorrow.
I need them to get packed, man.
Yes, that should be a comfy win for Chelsea. And then PSG playing tomorrow against Seattle Sounders, which should also be a comfy win for them as well. Like, I think some of the European teams were a bit stunned in the first games. But yeah, PSG, they lost their second, so they need to win this one to go through.
Oh, Madrid are down to 10 men.
Yeah. Madrid are down to 10 men and winning 2-0.
Oh, that is...
Pachuca in, I think Mexican. We'll leave it there. My brother, that's always a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
We go again. Peace.
Again. Oh, Bellingham, good goal. Peace.
Yo, when I spit bars. bars in a rave, man, I go hard like Santan. Yo, when I spit bars in a rave, man, I go hard like Santan.